Because under the Jumbotron, the party with Theo the Lion, while you wait for the Monarchs players to come out to meet you and sign autographs. Zion Bank Stadium offers plenty of options for you to satisfy your hunger in each corner of the stadium. Check out Theo's Roller Burgers, hot dogs, and brats. Then head over to Monarchs stage for pizza, chicken tenders, apple fries, corn dogs, and churros. Visit the Real Barbecue Pit to see which mountain water and meat they're cooking up each game. Options vary between pulled pork, tri-tip, ribs, and turkey legs. The only place to get freshly hot popcorn is over at our snack park. You can also pick up some churros, nachos, pretzels, candy, soda, and water while you're there. You're going to need something to wash down all the delicious food, so pick up your 2019 Monarchs reusable mug today. The initial price is $10 and then it's only $1 for every refill all season. We want to thank our friends from Rocky Mountain Photo for being here tonight. Grab your photo with your favorite mascot on the South Concourse. They'll be here through halftime. Find out how to have SLC's best photo booth at your next event at RockyMountainPhoto.com.
Beautiful Saturday evening. Soccer fans, welcome into Zions Bank Stadium. David Horst, Landon Southwick will take you along the journey tonight of this Western Conference battle between the Tulsa Roughnecks and the Real Monarchs. David, both teams in different situations. Been a rough stretch for Tulsa. Haven't won a game since April. The Monarchs are kind of starting to find their form, having won last week and a 1-0 victory, and really kind of starting to look the part.
And this is the point. We've talked about this all season. Now can they start stringing these games together? This is when they need to start climbing the table. So you start putting 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins together. That's how you climb the table and get yourself into playoff contention.
Playoff contention is the goal. And both teams really with some different challenges. The Monarchs without their leading scorer, a guy that's been gone playing in the Pan American Games, Douglas Martinez, and he's been on fire for Panama.
So where are the goals going to come from tonight? That's what the Monarchs are asking themselves right now, and that's what we're going to be watching for throughout the game tonight is where Douglas has been scoring so many goals for this team, they're going to need somebody else is going to need to step up tonight and score those goals.
Let's check out Western Conference standings to see where the Monarchs sits and how they need to improve, as you can check that out. They're sitting in 6th. But they're not completely clear. 31 points, 10th place is 29. So only a couple points separate them, but 3 points would be huge tonight for the Monarchs. If they were to take all 4, could jump them up into the 4th spot in the Western Conference. Tulsa, on the other hand, struggling and out of a playoff picture, but would like to gain 3 points. Let's throw it off to our first commercial. We'll be back with starting lineups right after that. America First Credit Union, ensuring the financial health of local families and businesses for 80 years. Tonight's match is presented by Steward Healthcare. Steward, world-class healthcare where you live. Visit steward.org. Mountain America, start preparing for your future today with Picture Perfect savings accounts from Mountain America. They offer term deposits, youth accounts, retirement savings, and more. Visit macu.com. For banking that always puts the best team on the pitch, Zions Bank is for you.
A lot can happen when your sidekick is a dog.
Kicker! Oh, I got this.
That's why you use Zelle in the Mountain America app. It makes sending and receiving money fast and easy. So Kicker and I can keep the adventure going.
Zelle is now in the Mountain America mobile app. Quickly send and receive money from almost anyone with a bank account in the U.S.
Kicker, my sleeping bag.
I've got this.
All with the convenience and security of the Mountain America app.
Beautiful shot of the northern skies in the temple. Let's check out the starting lineups for the Tulsa Roughnecks tonight.
And one of the players that the Monarchs are going to have to keep an eye on is Rodrigo da Costa. He's the leader of this team, and he's the man that makes everything really flow for Tulsa tonight. He's going to get on the ball, and he's going to look to score. So can the Monarchs keep an eye on him at all times and not let him get into the flow of the game tonight?
8 goals, 7 assists, and he's a guy that's really kind of on fire right now. Scored in their last matchup with the Energy as they drew 1-1 at home.
And then here, as we look at the Monarchs lineup, there's a few faces in there that really haven't had much time this year, but you're going to have that complemented with a few experienced guys coming down from the Real Salt Lake first team. So how will all these guys gel with a few important pieces that are missing, and then with some new faces and some guys coming down to get minutes and get healthy? So I'm really looking forward to see how can they all mesh together tonight and make it happen, Landon.
And some faces that we haven't seen recently, David Ochoa. Let's check out the referee for tonight, our center referee, and you can see a good-looking crew. Osmanovic is our center referee. Blas, Kenyawani, and Jones are our officials for tonight's match. But something I was just alluding to momentarily was David Ochoa, back with the team, spent some time with RSL. He's gone kind of all over the place, played in the Rising Stars game with MLS, the homegrown game, excuse me, Rising Stars. That's basketball, but homegrown game, and looked pretty good, then got to play in the skills challenge as the keeper in net to face some of the world's best. But he's a guy that I will look for tonight to see if he can continue to step his game to that next level.
And early on in the season when the Monarchs were playing really well, a lot of that was because of David Ochoa. They had complete confidence in the man behind them between the pipes every single game. And then when he started getting called up to the first team, when he went away for the U20 World Cup, that's when you start to see things, you know, kind of unravel a little bit for the Monarchs. So can Ochoa come back and really be that rock back there? Because as any player that has played the game knows, when you have complete faith in your goalie, it allows you to go out and play freely and openly and do the things that you do best as a player in front of the goalie.
And one of the things the Monarchs also like to see is the man in the middle wearing the captain's armband tonight, finally back, finally fit, and ready to make some magic happen in the midfield.
I'm excited to see Jack Blake back in there again, because really when the Monarchs had their little dip in form, David Ochoa was gone, but Jack Blake was also hurt as well, Landon. So can he come back in here and really lead this group of guys and be that glue in the middle of the field that the Monarchs need?
And we're underway here at Zions Bank Stadium in the beautiful Harriman, Utah. Monarchs going to be wearing their all-blue kits. Tulsa in their white with orange accents and orange socks. Crowd filling in here still at the stadium. 8 o'clock kick here, local time. Monarchs going to be moving from right to left across your TV screen, or from north to south. Holt. Back to Blake. The Monarchs are pretty content trying to feel out things early on. Not necessarily sit in, but they want to kind of probe early on and see where those spaces open up, especially in the attacking half of the field.
A lot of times when opposing teams come into Zions Bank Stadium here, they'll sit back in their 2 banks of 4, and they're going to play defense. So the Monarchs, they have to feel things out, poke and prod, see where those weak spots are, because they're not getting pulled out of their spots. So the Monarchs have to create situations where the Tulsa players get pulled out of their spots that they want to be in, and then they can exploit them.
Palma. Mulholland. He's going to take a big switch, finding Holtz. Ball had a little bit too much pace. Holt had to bring it down with his chest. Michael Chang, big switch, trying to find, I think, Powder, because Powder raised his hand, giving the thumbs up, but the ball just wasn't high enough. This ball is going to be dumped out of play and into the seats.
I think over the last few weeks since Jamison Olave has taken over, you've really seen more of a confidence in this Monarch side and keeping possession. Now you're starting to see outside backs getting higher and wider. The 6 is dropping between the center backs, and now they're able to play out of the back a little bit better than what they were kind of at the beginning of the year.
And that's something that's important, playing out of the back. RSL as an organization, that is something that all teams have that DNA.
Everybody always wants to talk about playing out of the back, but not everybody can do it, Landon. But when you come into Utah here, you know, we're almost a mile above sea level. It's a big field. Teams don't want to run around. So can the Monarchs possess the ball and wear teams down through that possession?
Goal kick coming for Lewis. Lewis taking his time to get things underway. Long ball. Holt's going to sit under it. He'll win the first header. Second ball is won by Tulsa. Takes a deflection. Palma's going to play it all the way back to Ochoa. Ochoa's going to try to find Palma right back. Palma misjudges the ball, and Tulsa now with the ball. Ryan's going to play it out, but our center referee is going to bring that back. Simanovic played the advantage for a second, but then brought the ball back. Ball looking forward, trying to find the rushing Montpellier, but that'll go out for a goal kick. 4th minute of play. Sun finally setting here at Zions Bank Stadium.
We can finally see the field. I know who's out there finally, Landon. That sun goes down, I can see things again.
Maybe it's time to get LASIK. Maybe not. Long ball. Herman. He'll apply a little bit of pressure. Chang there as well. Michael Chang, a welcome presence. Last week, played with an injury, came on as a substitute and was very active. But he's a guy that you like to have on the field, especially to be able to pull strings. And now that he's able to play his more natural wing position, that really allows him to dictate pace a little bit more as well.
When the Monarchs had those injuries early on in the year, they were pulling him into the 10, and that's just not his natural spot. Now that he's back out on the wing, you're starting to see him be a little bit more comfortable and play the way that we have basically become to know the way that he can play. And he's that experienced guy out there that we know, hey, when things get tough, when the situation is tight, he can come through and score those big goals for the Monarchs.
Yeah, and you need him providing service. One of the challenges, though, Damian Herman is not the type of player that Douglas Martinez is, purely in size. He doesn't have the height, not the hold-up play. He's more of the workhorse trying to find the extra stuff. As Arriaga is going to get a touch. Bad giveaway.
But hopefully with Palma and Chang on the outside now and Herman in the middle, they're able to connect a little bit more than if you had a Martinez in there, who is that big body that they want the wings to get to the end line and get crosses into him. Now, can Palma and Chang tuck in and be inverted and play off of Herman?
Powder to Ryden. Monarchs going to switch the side of the field. Trying to find Chang. Chang's going to pick up his head. He's going to run at the defense. He has an overlapping player. Ball takes a deflection. And Tulsa's going to dispossess, but cannot find Silva. And they've had trouble finding both forwards so far. Tulsa really has not. No one's been quite on the same page. There's a lot of balls going through. Ryden's watched a couple go out across the end line, just ushering them that way.
It's hard to get used to the way this turf plays. It is different than playing on grass. When you hit a nice ball on the ground through, it rolls a little bit harder than what it would on grass. So the Tulsa players, they have to kind of find their footing and get a feel for this field.
Ryden.
Stay with them, Brian. They're live.
Hasso was on the USL team of the week this last week for his performance against Colorado Springs. Mulholland down, still getting some rehab minutes with the Monarchs. Palma to Mulholland. Mulholland takes a touch, finding Herman, trying to get it out wide to Chang. But Tulsa deals with it nicely. Hasso's there to break things up in a heavy challenge there, but I think he won that cleanly.
And you love seeing that from the young player. He's setting the tone out there early on in the game. That is a completely legal tackle. It's a great tackle, but he's letting the Tulsa players know, hey, you know, when you come into my area tonight, I'm going to be putting in hard tackles on you. So now they're going to think twice about going near him.
Ball trying to go forward by Arriaga. Blake's going to be called for the foul. Advantage was played for a second, but pulled back. As you can see,
he gets
and
ball there.
He stood him up really strongly. And that's what you want to see from a young player going into a challenge against Sheldon with some power. And he's not the biggest guy on the field.
No, definitely not. But a lot of times young players are timid. They don't want to put in those hard tackles. But he came right in. He let Sheldon know, hey, it's going to be a long night if you want to come near me.
Holtz. Back to Blake. Blake dropping pretty deep in between the center backs who are spread pretty wide. Something to keep an eye on.
And this is what, since Hamilton has taken over, this is something that you have seen, is that 6 dropping deeper between the center backs.
Chang trying to find Herman. Cleared away nicely by Lobo. Monarchs with their foot on the gas, trying to see if they can find an opening in the defense of Tulsa. Lobo's going to let it roll, and it'll be a goal kick for Lewis. Playing his 8th game, 14 goals conceded on the season. No clean sheets to his name yet. Tulsa with 2 on the season. Tulsa enters tonight's match with a 4-11-7 record, 19 points. Monarchs 9-7-4 with 31 points.
Come on, squeeze around it.
Difference between the playoffs right there. Being in and out. Goal kick coming. Ball's played high and long. Won by Hasso on the first ball. Second ball won by Herman. Attack going forward. Ochoa recognizes that and comes off his line to collect the ball at the top of the 18.
And situations like that are what the Monarchs are going to have to be aware of, where they're in this situation, they have so much possession and control of this game. So when there's instances where a ball's popping around or there's a deflection, they have to be aware of where those forwards are, because they're going to be very opportunistic and look to get on those loose balls.
Arriaga kept it on his feet, maybe a touch too long as Palma was making a nice run. But we have to go back to what Ryden did there. Ryden almost had himself in a scary situation, was able to get out of that situation. But that's something that's plagued the Monarchs throughout this season.
And throughout this whole season, really, a lot of the goals have been the Monarchs basically shooting themselves in their own foot. If they can eliminate a lot of those mistakes.
Palma inside the box, clipping it back post. Chang will collect just outside the 18. Gets it up to Hasso, to Blake. Blake picks up his head, finds Palma, shot on goal and just wide. Luis Palma is gonna want that one back.
When we look at the replay here, Luis Palma's gonna find himself wide open on the back post, and the great ball from Jack Blake, but takes his eye off of it at the last second, Landon, and it goes just wide.
It's almost like he was trying to deflect it to that far post instead of just naturally driving it towards, or excuse me, near the near post instead of driving it towards that far post, which where he's angled towards.
Sometimes when you try to aim those headers, it makes it so much harder, whereas if sometimes you just hit that ball as hard as you can, you keep it down, it'll go in.
But a decent looking opportunity and a first for the Monarchs here in this first half. Hasso on the defense, does a nice job to dispossess Tulsa. The Monarchs will give it right back. Altamirano looking inside. We played back. Flipped in the box and some frustration there.
When Tulsa gets these opportunities to keep possession of the ball, they can't waste them like that, Landon. They have to keep control and put the Monarchs on the back foot a little bit. They can't give wasteful balls away to the goalie.
DaCosta sitting in that midfield role, trying to find the pass inside the 18 in frustration as he was pointing with his hands. Ball out here on the near side to the captain, Jack Blake. Palma. Defended by Reyes. Reyes has a task tonight. Palma's going to be very active as the ball's coming to this side. But on the opposite side, another task is defending Michael Chang. Ball out for a throw-in. Last time these two sides met, Monarchs prevailed with the 3-1 victory after giving up an early goal, but came back to score 3. Monarchs looking to sweep the season series, as tonight is the second of 2 games between these two sides.
I think when I hear stats like that, Landon, it's really a tale of 2 seasons for the Monarchs. You know, we talked about how they would shoot themselves in the foot with defensive errors. They were giving up goals early on in games, and now, really, as the season has progressed, they've learned from those things, and they've gotten better at them. And really, that's a sign of a playoff team. A team that learns from their mistakes and gets better is a team that belongs in the playoffs.
Not to plug our podcast, but the Center Circle podcast, we have to talk about what we've talked about all season long. The Monarchs, you know, we're trying to figure things out, and it wasn't about being in the playoff picture. As we get late through August into September, it really is about what form are you in?
What do I always say, Landon? It's not how you start the season, it's how you end the season. And the Monarchs, they're putting themselves in a really good position to end the season very well.
Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues around the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Be a throw in for Tulsa. DaCosta trying to get the return pass. Mulholland there. Ryden's going to battle for the header. Won by Tulsa. Silva. Silva's going to pick up his head. Opportunity towards goal. Blake was slow to kind of drop into that spot, and the first corner of the match will be conceded, and Tulsa will be taking it.
And as you see here from the replay, Tulsa gets themselves in a great spot. The Monarchs are a little late to react to what's going on in the play. And this is what I talked about earlier, Landon. The Monarchs, they have to keep their focus and not fall asleep on these plays.
Altamirano, he'll serve in the free kick. Punched away by Ochoa. And I know from the bench, some of what you're hearing is you want to hear something from Ochoa as he's in a position like that. Silva was there, but he was able to get over the reach with his fists.
Come on, Luca. Deep for Sheldon.
Palma, he's going to run up forward on this flank. Cuts inside. Palma, still with that at his feet. Looks to Blake. Blake can hit it from this distance. He'll take a go. Takes a deflection, though.
I absolutely love that counterattack from the Monarchs because you got a young goalie who might be a little indecisive, but he gets that ball and he plays the quick. He sees that Tulsa is unbalanced and that the left side of the field is wide open for the Monarchs, and he's able to play out to the left, and the Monarchs get a great opportunity there, but that starts with David Ochoa seeing that.
Herman's going to get an opportunity, but it'll be headed away by Roberts. Roberts definitely got the height on Herman. Heavy touch there. Monarchs going to get possession back. Chang cutting inside, opening up space for Hasso out wide. Hasso going to come back into the midfield. Right back to Hasso, though. Monarchs going to play some more possession. So far, 75-25 on possession. As the Monarchs have held the lion's share through 16 minutes of play. David, one of the things you're seeing here from this Monarch side so far is they're very content on switching the field from side to side. Chang inside the 18. Chang, Michael Chang shots.
They are very content with going side to side, Landon, but at some point, they're either going to have to move that ball quickly or try to unbalance Tulsa, or they're going to have to try and find those poking and prodding passes to get between the Tulsa lines. Going side to side is all well and good to keep possession, but there has to be a purpose to it. If you move the ball quickly, you're trying to unbalance Tulsa. If you're trying to play those through balls, that's where your scoring opportunities are going to come from.
And you've got to wonder when we'll see Arriaga maybe or Mulholland kind of cheat into some of that space to try to find an attacking position to then serve a diagonal ball on those situations where they're able to cut off some defenders.
I mean, and honestly, it's probably going to have to be Arriaga who's going to have to find himself between those lines, because once you find him, it's going to be Mulholland and Blake that are going to have to play off of him.
Chang, he's going to run at Sheldon. Chang cuts in. Chang, Arriaga to Herman! Damian Herman! 2 goals in 2 games!
And that right there is an RSL Academy connection, Landon. Those 2 guys played together for the last few years, and now they find themselves on the pro field and making things happen.
This time, Damian keeps on his shirts, as we're going to get a replay look at that one. And man, that's what you like to see. If you're an attacking player, you want to have the ball at your feet and just tap it home.
And we just talked about Arriaga finding himself in those spaces, finds himself in a great spot, and Herman knows what Arriaga is going to do there, and he's ready for the ball across the top of the 6, and it's a nice, smooth finish.
Taparuski. 17th minute of play. Monarchs take the 1-0 lead from Damian Herman. 2 goals in 2 games for him. San Diego State and Grand Canyon University. He spent his college years. And he's filled in nicely for this Monarch side in these last 2 games.
And we talked about with Douglas Martinez gone, where are those goals going to come from? And right now, Damian Herman is stepping up to the plate and proving that he belongs in this lineup.
Douglas Martinez playing in the championship of the Pan American Games tonight. We'll have to get an update on that. Ochoa switches the ball wide to Holt. And now is where things may open up a little bit, David. Now Tulsa's conceded. Now there sometimes is that nerve. As Powder's gonna get it inside the box. Powder with it. Powder with a shot. Not his preferred foot. So maybe didn't have the power that he wanted. but he found himself in a nice position.
And with that first goal being given up now, Tulsa's going to have to start stepping out of their lines a little bit, which will give the Monarchs more opportunity to find those spaces between the lines.
Ball inside the box, going to take a big bounce. Kind of an awkward turf bounce as it went forward away from the keeper, but that's one of those things you talked about, David.
You have to get a feel for this field. The ball moves differently, it bounces differently, and it takes a little while to get used to that.
Look around. Good. Get back. One side, Damien.
Gonzalez.
Michael, come on.
Out wide to Sheldon. Sheldon cuts in. He's fouled by Chang.
Come on, Raph, man.
Right now, when you watch Tulsa keep possession of the ball, their spacing is off just a little bit. When you see Jack Blake drop between the Monarch center backs, the Monarch center backs open up, creating more space for him to play. Right now, when when Manny Gonzalez drops between the center backs for Tulsa, the center backs are not opening up and they're crowding each other's space.
Yeah, a little bit. Good. One side.
Ball here on the near side. Reyes.
No space, Brian.
Altamirano.
No body, no space.
Altamirano still with it. He's going to
Come on.
play it back to his center back, Roberts. Lobo. Kind of a give and go combo there. Hasso had to be careful there. Runner behind him. But Monarchs deal with it nicely defensively. Lucas Lobo having himself a season, 7 goals, 1 assist. Acquired from a team in Brazil, Botafogo. Stadium I had the chance to play in as a youth. Try to get in a few of those opportunities, as you know, David, here on occasion.
You can still cut one. You can still
David
cut
Horse, decade in the MLS. One of his former teammates sitting on the bench of Tulsa, Donovan Ricketts.
It's always good to see ex-teammates, staying in the game. And Ricketts was always one of those guys that was kind of a father/coach on the field for all of us in Portland. So it was great catching up with him before the game, and it's awesome seeing him, basically passing on everything now to another generation.
Herman still trying to apply pressure. But it is a fun thing to see those guys. We were just reminiscing a little bit before this, talking about FIFA and getting a chance to play yourself in FIFA. Donovan Ricketts also in the game. 67 is his rating. Not quite fair. 1 point, David was a 67 too.
At one point in my career, I was, but I'm pretty. There's 3 of us in this stadium that have been in FIFA, between Donovan Ricketts, myself, and Hamas and Olave. But I'm pretty sure Olave was the highest rated out of all of us.
Nice fancy footwork there from Noah Powder. But in our hearts, David, a 99. We got you, pal.
I like that.
67 to the FIFA creators and 99 to us. Kalen Ryden. Play it to Mulholland. Mulholland looked like he's almost back to his same self after these past 2 appearances for the Monarchs. Arriaga to Herman. Herman has a lot of jerseys around him. Shot from distance. Palma just never got completely over the ball to keep it on frame, but not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea at all, because now it gives Tulsa that thought in the back of their head that, hey, he's 30 yards out right now, and he's shooting. Now we're going to have to step forward, creating that space behind us between the back line and the goalie. So now, hopefully, Tulsa will step forward next time somebody's got that time, and then they're able just to slip it in behind the Tulsa defenders.
24th minute of play. Monarchs lead 1-0. Courtesy of goal in the 17th minute by Damian Herman. Tune into ESPN News on August 21st for Wednesday night soccer between the 2 best in the East. North Carolina FC welcomes Eastern Conference leaders Tampa Bay Rowdies with playoff positioning battles heating up. See it all on August 21st on Wednesday night soccer on ESPN News.
Wednesday night soccer land, and I love that.
I love soccer all night, all the time. A lot of fans still just relishing in the fact that now we're in Premier league opening weekends. As there's a foul called and a free kick coming as Altamirano committed the foul. We'll get a replay look at that. Powder gave a little bit more than it maybe was, but definitely got his body. Altamirano got him in the body.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how soft or how hard a foul is, Landon, a foul's a foul.
Free kick coming. Here for Jack Blake. Two-man wall in front of him. Line set for Tulsa on top of the 18. Keep an eye on Holt and Ryden. Ball in, headed. And I think he was trying for a glancing header to try to go more towards the back post.
He has to play that ball just a little bit more behind the Tulsa back line, because by the time the ball got in on top of the Monarchs, their runs were already ahead of the ball. So even if they got a glancing header or a flick, it was always going to go wide of the goal. If he can get that ball a little bit more on top of the 6-yard box, now the Monarchs players are running onto the ball, and a glancing or a flicked header go on frame.
Herman to Palma. Palma with Altamirano defending him and does a nice job to keep him off and keep possession for this Monarch side. Mulholland's a Powder. And you can see the space starting to open up, David, as Chang cuts inside. Looking back post. Palma's gonna try to keep it in. He'll run towards the corner. He's able to do so, as he'll win the corner kick for the Monarchs, their first of the match.
And I talked about how Tulsa's spacing was just a little bit off, and that last combination play for the Monarchs was a great snapshot to see the spacing of the Monarchs and how effective it can be, because they came from the middle to the left all the way to the right, and now the corner is on the left side. So that type of combination comes from great spacing by the Monarchs.
Jack Blake will step out to take the corner kick. Arriaga's gonna go close and short with him. Zonal marking from Tulsa as they have almost everybody on top of the 6. Ball played to Powder. Powder clips it back, stick. Ryden plays it in, still in the box. Holtz up and over the crossbar.
Now, zonal defense is fantastic, Landon, if the ball is played in initially. But when you see a zonal defense, you got to play the ball back, because now it forces that zone to move. And when a zone moves, it creates space. And now the Monarchs are able to attack those spaces that the Tulsa players just left. So zone marking is good, but it can definitely have its disadvantages at times.
And I think that's one of the reasons why the Monarchs quickly went to that short corner, noticing that that makes a challenge as you've got attacking players running into the box and players stepping forward. Sometimes it gives the attacking player the advantage, like you mentioned.
And that's great awareness from the Monarchs players to see that right away.
Gotta love the ball movement by this Monarch side. It's pinging around the pitch. Ball out wide. Hasso fakes like he's gonna play a big ball in. He'll cut in, trying to fly in Blake. Blake hits it forward. Possession kept in by Holtz. Powder's gonna get back wide to Hasso. Into Mulholland. Mulholland plays it in the box. I don't know if that was a cross and maybe a mix between two, but it was played into the box and Lewis is able to collect.
That's right there is just two players that really haven't played together. That's a great ball from Luke Mulholland, but Damien Herman, he's not ready for that, and he's not expecting that, because he just doesn't have that chemistry with Mulholland right now.
The mistakes I made is it's the Pan American Games. Douglas Martinez playing for Honduras, not Panama. I kept saying Panama. He's been successful as they're playing in the gold medal game this evening. All forward, Tulsa trying to go forward. Altamirano gets around one defender, tries to get around the second. Now 3 players closing in on him. Takes a deflection, and Palma's gonna open things up to the far side.
Come on, Brian, push, Brian! Down, quickly! Yeah, open up, well done!
Mulholland.
Well done, guys, well done! Keep the middle, keep the middle, keep the middle!
Real Salt Lake
Cut it,
is in stoppage time,
Fred is inside!
leading 2-1.
Well done! You can
And you have to love seeing the reaction from Real Salt Lake the last few weeks with all the distractions and things that have happened. These guys have really taken ownership of this team and stepped up to the plate to tell everybody that it doesn't matter what happens, that they can overcome anything right now.
And you wondered who was going to step up and who was really going to be that difference maker. And it's been guys that maybe you wouldn't have thought 2 weeks ago. Damian Herman.
Exactly.
2 goals, 2 games, and not a guy that was really even in the 18 in the past handful of weeks.
And really, like, that's what professional sports is taking the opportunities that you get and making the most of them, because you're not going to get many of them. So when you do, you've got to give it everything you have.
Corey Baird with the brace for Real Salt Lake, and Damian Herman almost an opportunity, tries to stay away from Lewis. But as I was saying, Corey Baird, homegrown product with 2 goals, a brace to take all 3 points in Kansas City. Ryden's gonna try to go forward. He's gonna take a heavy touch or a deflection off his foot as he's trying to get around the defender. Possession still. And the Monarchs defense tonight has been pretty stingent. Anytime a Tulsa attacking player, whether it's Silva, Premier, have gone forward, has been really tight on them, and they haven't had opportunities to open up.
And I've talked about this back line keeping their focus when the Monarchs have had so much possession of the ball tonight. And I think Kalen Ride and Eric Holt have done a fantastic job of staying tuned into the game with everything that is happening right now. And you're starting to realize that when Tulsa does get possession, Kalen Ride and Eric Holt, they win that ball back immediately, and now they're able to start that counterattack. And really, the Monarchs are winning the ball 30 yards closer to the goal they want to score than what they normally do.
Possession kind of now settling in 70-30 for the Monarchs. 7 shots, 2 on goal for the Monarchs, 1 shot, none on goal for Tulsa. 32nd minute of play. We'd like to welcome all those of you tuning in from Tulsa tonight, especially the supporter groups, the Rustabouts, the Union, and the Wrench Maidens.
That has to be the best names I have ever heard for supporter groups. If I'm the Tulsa players, I love that.
And they're awesome supporter groups, always doing a phenomenal job, just like our supporter group here locally, Wasatch Legion, supporters of the Real Monarchs.
I think a few MLS supporter groups could take some notes from the names of a few of these supporter groups in the USL.
Definitely some of the better ones. Shot from distance, parried away. Inside the box again, but Herman unable to get on the end of it. Ryden does a good job to keep it in the defensive end for Tulsa. Monarchs center backs applying a lot of pressure.
And right there, that's what I talked about, is the center back staying tuned into the game. And when that ball is played into the Tulsa forwards, Kalen Ryan's able to win it right away because he's ready for it.
Mulholland, he clips it, looking back post. No one's home. Arriaga's going to chase it down. Powder's up after that rough challenge. I'd imagine we'll see a yellow card given once play stops for a second.
We have to push out quicker. Midfield. Manny Rodrigo higher.
Powder.
Push them up. You have to push them up.
Trying to find Palma. Palma shot on frame. And he put some gas behind that one.
And I think what you have seen all night is when that ball's been played into that space between the 18 and the 6, every single time it's been a cross. But now, when Luis Palma finds him in that space, he says, screw it, and puts a shot right on frame. And wow, Landon, what a save from Sean Lewis.
And Lewis, I don't know that was expecting that, but definitely got a lot, took a lot to make sure that one didn't go in the back of the net. Reyes, though, during that break, got a warning from our center referee for the challenge on Noah Powder. No yellow shown, but a warning, as the Monarchs will take their second corner kick of the half. Looked like there was some planned play, as Matt Glazer, assistant coach for the Real Monarchs, pretty frustrated with how that one lined up, and maybe a little bit of a wasted corner. So Monarchs are going to slow things up and allow players to get back defensively. or excuse me, in a position where they can go forward attacking. Ball's up over the head of Blake. DaCosta, 8 goals, 7 assists, and really hasn't been very present in this game, done a lot of chasing. But as you would expect, this whole Tulsa team has done quite a bit of chasing as the Monarchs have had a lion's share of possession.
I mean, it's really tough to get into the flow of the game when you're not seeing the ball. When you're only seeing the ball very sporadically, it's tough to really make an impact. And right now, Tulsa, they're not seeing that ball, and the Monarchs are really imposing their will on the Roughnecks right now.
Ryden. Back to Ochoa.
And right now, you can hear the Tulsa coach. He's saying, closer, closer, step up, step up. He wants his players to step out of their lines and put a little bit more pressure on the Monarchs because the 6, the center backs, and the outside backs, they're having so much time to play on the ball, and it's really putting Tulsa under pressure right now, and they're never able to get the ball back.
And that's a challenge. When you're on the road, high altitude, you know, a game like this where you've already given up a goal, chasing the game is not something you want to be doing.
I mean, being in high altitude, down a goal, it's tough to both put pressure on the ball and keep possession. You just don't have the energy.
Blake trying to slip a ball through to Herman. Palma gets around the defense. Palma gets around the second, forearm extended, but no foul called. Maybe a little too much there from Palma. Looked like almost an opportunity for Silva. DaCosta gets cut off by Mulholland. Elevation in Tulsa, 722 feet compared to the 4,700 feet here at Zions Bank Stadium. Roberts swung along the back line to Lobo. Pushed high in the air. Holt's gonna rise. Header won by Tulsa, but it'll be out of play and a goal kick for the Monarchs.
Behind, watch behind.
Herman, he's out wide. Tries to go at the defense. Had a lot in his head, but the feet just didn't react with the brain.
That corner's awfully close to that sprinkler over there, so I wonder if the field's a little bit more wet than it is in the rest of the field.
And that's one of the things that we talk about when heat's present. Oftentimes that slickness goes away quickly, but if it's still present in a spot, it could get slick on this turf.
Well, once again, I talked about Tulsa getting used to the field, but it's the same thing for anybody. If you're going from a dry part of the field to the wet part of the field, your body mentally and physically just isn't ready to make that transition.
Roberts inside Tulsa's half. Sheldon looking forward, headed away. Silva was making a nice run, defended by Ryden behind him, and Holt was able to cut that one off on the front side. Throw in coming for Tulsa, 38th minute of play.
Brian, that's a good spot.
On the touch line, played inside the box, and Ochoa there to collect.
Once again, Tulsa, they're getting possession of the ball, but they're giving it away just too easily right now, Landon. They're not making the Monarchs work for it to get the ball back. And now, once again, Tulsa, they have to play defense and get this ball back.
Tight, Fred, tight.
Ryden calling for players to come forward.
Let Manny know, left shoulder.
Trying to find someone running. Palma gonna come near, but nothing there. Flag's gonna go up as De Silva was probably 5 yards offside.
I'm pretty sure that is the rule I hate the most in soccer right now, is that the linesman does not have to call the offsides until the player that is offsides plays the ball, because as a center back, I don't feel like chasing a forward 40 yards into the corner if he's going to be offsides, but you don't know if he's offsides until he touches it. So I think that is the rule I despise most right now, Landon.
Fans follow the Real Monarchs and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home of the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. That's $5 you're going to spend as a soccer fan. Chang, harassed by two, able to get it over to Powder. Powder plays it in the box and cleared away by Roberts. Ryden's got time. He'll collect. So you're going to replay look at the opportunity by Powder. Cleared by Roberts. 40th minute of play. So we draw ever closer to the halftime break. Monarchs would like to get that second. So I'm sure Tulsa would as well. Bad giveaway there by Mulholland. And the Monarchs are going to have to react. Holt does a good job stepping forward, dangerously opens up his legs. Ball is maybe 2 inches inside, and that one's a nutmeg.
That is a crucial tackle from Eric Holt right there, because if he gets beat, it is 2 on nobody out there for Tulsa, and they're in on the goal, and the Monarchs are basically having to make crazy runs to get back. But fantastic step, fantastic tackle from Eric Holt, but he has to make sure he wins it every time he does something like that.
Arriaga into Herman. Herman leaves it, trying to think that Palma's there. Shot just wide. Blake with an opportunity.
And as you see in the replay here, Jack Blake sitting at the top of the box, just waiting for those rebounds to come out. And if you want anybody on the Monarchs team sitting there, it's got to be Jack Blake. If that ball is 6 inches to the right, that's in the bottom left corner, Landon.
That's what you like to see. Jack Blake has taken a couple opportunities from distance. I'd expect him to keep testing the keeper. Palma's got it inside the box, cuts inside. He'll play a bending ball back post. And he was just trying to play the traffic game there. A lot of people in front of goal and just trying to curl that one around the defense. And I don't think we talk, I mean, I know we talk about this most games as Tulsa's official account at Tulsa Roughnecks is confirming the 742, and it's actually 4,700 square feet here at Zions Bank Stadium.
To give them credit, they might be taking the elevation of Salt Lake. Harriman is not in Salt Lake. Harriman
sits up on the hillside.
Sits up on the hillside, yes.
But the challenge there is when teams come in, you don't think that altitude plays a challenge, but when you get running, and all of a sudden you're sprinting and you just don't have the wind to go, that's where that fatigue plays in. Altamirano, he'll test the keeper, putting it up over top, but it's some of those times you don't see it until the 70th, 80th minute where guys just don't have it in them to continue making those long runs.
The biggest thing I have noticed, because I've played at sea level, I've played at altitude, is that when you make those long runs, you can't get that air back, and it takes you, you know, 30 to 45 seconds, a little bit longer than it normally would. And at that point, now you're back running again, so you never really get your air back that you need to keep playing at 100%. And that's, like, altitude just is, it feels like your body is just constantly being squeezed, Landon, and you just can never really take deep breaths.
Well, orange juice press. Or a nice lemonade press. One of the two. Or for some, a wine press. Just gonna...
Can't come out! Can't come out!
Blake finds Palma, defended by 3. He keeps it in.
Play, feet!
Still pinging around a couple guys. Hand takes a deflection off Palma's arm. I have to give an update, though. Douglas Martinez has scored in the final. Still trying to confirm a score, but he has scored a goal in the Pan American Games final. Palma, he's going to quickly play it forward, trying to find Herman. And that's not the game the Monarchs should be trying to play. Herman is not going to find those balls.
Herman is not Douglas Martinez. It's the fact that we were just talking about him. He has to combine with Palma. He has to combine with Chang, and that's the way he's going to make things happen. That's how he scored his goal, by combining with Arriaga.
Arriaga inside the box, cuts back, tries to find it on his right foot, and he just took way too much time, still in the box. Herman took an opportunity, and it felt like slow motion there for a second, David.
I think that's a little bit of an experience from Arriaga. I think he was like, holy crap, there's so much time and space here. I don't know what to do with the ball. And as you see in the replay, he takes a touch, looks up, takes a touch, looks up, and then he kind of runs out of room and he just kicks it off the goalie's chest. In that instance, that's the one when he has that angle to shoot, he's got to take it.
Altamirano. Nice little Cristiano. Da Costa. Cuts back on Mulholland. He'll play it back to Montpremier. Back to Da Costa. Doesn't seem to be a lot of space in the midfield for Tulsa. Reyes. Tulsa is 1-6-5 on the road. So we're almost through 45. Tulsa's trying to find the equalizer. They're attacking forward. Mulholland's there, defending it. Mulholland falls down. Ball still inside the box, and Blake will clear. Played out wide. To Michael Chang. Arriaga has Palma out wide. He's gonna find him. Palma's gonna chase it down to the corner. Palma's gonna pick up his head. Back to Blake. And we'll have no stoppage time here in the first half. And we'll see how this side will come out in the second half and see how they react. But David, a pretty good first half from this Monarchs side, taking the 1-0 lead to the break.
You know, it was a great first half from the Monarchs. They kept possession. They were doing everything right. But Landon, they have to score more goals because right now, with all the possession and all the chances they've had, it's still 1-0, and Tulsa is in this game yet. If Tulsa gets a goal back, it's game on.
Game on, and you need to be able to find that second and possibly that third if you're the Monarch side. Too many good opportunities to be just leading 1-0.
You don't win the game on the stat sheet, you win the game on the scoreboard, and right now, the Monarchs, they need to put some more points up on the scoreboard.
Monarchs gonna take the 1-0 lead to the break, courtesy of a Damian Herman goal in the 17th minute of play. We're gonna check out some highlights from this complex here in Harriman and the weight room here at Zions Bank Stadium. America First Credit Union, ensuring the financial health of local families and businesses for 80 years. Tonight's match is presented by Steward Healthcare. Steward, world-class healthcare where you live. Visit steward.org. Mountain America, start preparing for your future today with Picture Perfect savings accounts from Mountain America. They offer term deposits, youth accounts, retirement savings, and more. Visit macu.com. For banking that always puts the best team on the pitch, Zions Bank is for you.
Okay, people, it's Ford Truck Month. And you know what that means. The best deals on America's best-selling trucks for 42 years straight. And with over 28 million sold, isn't it time you joined the stampede?
Now get a Ford F-150 with 0 for 72 financing plus $1,000 trade assist cash, or get over $13,000 in total savings.
the beautiful Zions Bank Stadium here in Harriman City. Brody inside the team. Brody shot and a goal! Andrew Brody!
Blake takes the shot and he hammered it home.
A lot can happen when your sidekick is a dog.
I got this.
That's why you use Zelle in the Mountain America app. It makes sending and receiving money fast and easy. So Kicker and I can keep the adventure going.
Zelle is now in the Mountain America mobile app. Quickly send and receive money from almost anyone with a bank account in the U.S.
Kicker, my sleeping bag.
I've got this.
All with the convenience and security of the Mountain America app.
For the past 42 years, and with over 28 million sold, more people have put their hard-earned money on a Ford F-Series truck than any other pickup in America. Yeah, I'd say that's money well spent. It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to join the stampede.
Now get a Ford F-150 with 0 for 72 financing plus $1,000 trade assist cash, or get over $13,000 in total savings.
Fortune can hit from here. Oh!
McCarthy once more. Blasted back in, and it's a goal for North Carolina FC. Big shot and scored. And Ben Spees lets one fly and drills it.
Where he didn't fit in with Bethlehem and really Philadelphia. Prater, lofting, header, snap, in! New Mexico to run away with it. We here stealing it now.
The ball. Fortune can hit from here. Oh! My! And how about North Carolina FC?
Chavez plays it with Cooper, gets the return ball. Now Chavez to have a goal! What a strike from Ivan Chavez! His fourth of the year and Fresno FC. Moto flipping it in towards the... Oh, what a save! Tejas in a second save!
Santos was in behind. Oh, that's the one. Toby had a ball and makes it 1-0. Don't stop him now. His second goal of the year has Pittsburgh.
A lot can happen when your sidekick is a dog.
I got this.
That's why you use Zelle in the Mountain America app. It makes sending and receiving money fast and easy. So Kicker and I can keep the adventure going.
Zelle is now in the Mountain America mobile app. Quickly send and receive money from almost anyone with a bank account in the U.S.
Kicker, my sleeping bag.
I've got this.
All with the convenience and security of the Mountain America app.
We're back here live at the half here at Zions Bank Stadium. Monarchs lead 1-0 and a pretty entertaining first half. Maybe not the most entertaining for both sides, but the Monarchs definitely had opportunities.
Statistically, it was a very entertaining first half, Landon. But like I said, the Monarchs, they have to start putting their chances away. They're letting Tulsa stick around a little too long. And when you start to do that, especially as the game gets later and later, it gives Tulsa more and more confidence to come in here and get a point.
Let's check out the storylines. And something we mentioned in the pregame, Tulsa without a win since April. Monarchs have the most home wins in the USL since 2017, 32 of them. So pretty much a fortress here and a winnable place for the Monarchs. And then both coaches are former MLS players. And I don't think we talk about that as much. That's really a shifting culture throughout the U.S. soccer scape, guys that have played professionally coming back to coach.
And I think it's so important for players of that or people of that caliber to get back into the game, because that's really how the game gets better. When you get people that have that professional experience and that knowledge, and now they're starting to pass that on to the younger players, that's how the sport grows in the U.S.
Let's check out the USL Team of the Week. Steve Hasso, Real Monarch player on the Team of the Week, and he had a great game against Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Weehan, another name many might recognize with New Mexico, Bonomo, Sacramento, and a few others here in the Western Conference. USL Player of the Week for a solid game he had for Atlanta United as both teams are getting ready to come back out on the pitch, and we'll get back underway here shortly. Let's check out the games around the league that are currently in action and final as Rio Grande Valley takes the 3-2 victory over Colorado Springs. Fresno also a winner over OKC Energy. LA Galaxy, too, have been on a fine run as they take the 3-1 victory. Phoenix rising up 1-0 and San Antonio up 1-0. Some pretty interesting results, and one that's, you know, Phoenix has been on that run, 12 games 12 straight wins and just been on fire.
And really, the Western Conference is such a crapshoot. You don't know really, anything can happen at any weekend, and that's why it's so important for the Monarchs to start putting strings of wins together, because they have to start climbing the table at some point. So if you can put 3 and 4 wins together back to back like that, that's how you get those points to start rising up the table.
And a win tonight and 3 points would allow the Monarchs to climb further up that Western Conference table and put themselves in a spot for a good late run. One of the things we haven't talked about tonight, but the Monarchs have traditionally been pretty awful in the month of August and really haven't been able to figure out things late in the season.
So the last couple of years, the Monarchs have started so well, and then, like you said, the month of August rolls around, and they're done. That's it. They have a bad August. They go into the playoffs in bad form, and they're eliminated in the first round. Now, they started the season off not as well. August rolls around. Now they're starting to put things together, and maybe this is the year where, hey, playoffs roll around. They're finally playing well at that point. They're peaking then, and it's not a first-round exit.
And that's something that's important. See if you can get past that first round, the elusive first round for the Monarchs, as we're almost ready to get underway here. And we'll see what happens as both sides are out on the pitch, see if any substitutions are made. It looks like both teams going to trot out the same. Tulsa's going to make one substitution. Ball going to be swung around. Herman's going to get an opportunity to run forward. So we're sorting things out, and we'll get you those numbers here as you saw it popping up on the screen. 6 in, 17 out. Juan Premier will exit the match.
Rodrigo.
Adai comes on the match.
All Tulsa has to do in this second half right now, Landon, is they have to hold strong defensively and just try to nick a goal on a set piece, on a counterattack, anything like that. But they have to hold strong defensively. They have to bend and not break in the second half.
Palma gives the ball away.
Come on, play.
Gets back to win a challenge. Adai with his first touch. Plays it wide. Ball clipped in far post. As Hasso rises high and is challenged from behind by Sheldon. If I'm not mistaken, or excuse me, not by Sheldon, by Rogers, as you're going to get a replay look at that. Rogers extended right up into the neck area. And in many cases, that's typically where a yellow card's shown.
That very easily could have been a yellow. He gets away with it there, and hopefully it does not come back to bite him in the butt.
Rogers and Palma battling.
Good, move again, Manny, come on. Good, higher.
Update on Douglas Martinez. His side is losing 4-1 in the finals. It's getting late in the second half there in the Pan American Games. But he has the only goal for his side. 48th minute of play here at Zions Bank Stadium. Monarchs still lead 1-0. It's beautiful Saturday evening in northern Utah, specifically in Harriman, Utah, on the beautiful campus here, this complex that Deloy Hansen has built in an incredible facility.
And you saw a video of it at halftime of really the world-class facilities that are now available for, the youth soccer community here in Utah. And really that's what's going to take soccer to the next level here, is by building facilities like that.
Flags up on the far side. It'll be an offside call on Tulsa. If you're Michael Nisian, one of the things you want to see is those type of plays. At least you're starting to attack. At least you're starting to put things forward and have a chance to go at goal.
Block inside first.
Herman applying pressure on Lobo. Rogers.
Hey,
Rogers takes a hard challenge there from Hasso. And Hasso's going to get a warning from the center referee.
And that might just be a little bit of payback from that last elbow into the head of Hasso. Now, this is the instance where the ref has to calm both of these players down and not let something like this escalate as the game goes on.
And it is probably one of those retaliation plays, as Hasso got it pretty nice up in the, up above the shoulders. Lobo, high ball wide. Powder wins the first header. Ball's gonna fall. DaCosta with a nice touch. DaCosta going forward. Takes a deflection off Mulholland. It'll be a throw in for Tulsa. Sheldon gets his pocket picked, but Tulsa's gonna win it back. DaCosta. He'll play a big ball inside the box. Dealt with nicely by the Monarchs defense.
And balls like that, they're gonna be very hard for Tulsa to deal with. When you have two big players like Eric Holt and Kalen Ryan that are very strong at winning those types of balls, that's not how Tulsa's gonna find opportunities. Try and play around these guys and not play through them or over them.
Monarchs keeping possession smartly. You have to talk to the way of Jack Blake. Jack Blake knew he was in space, knew he couldn't settle it, headed it nicely to Arriaga to keep possession for the Monarchs. But those are the little things you have to do to continue keeping possession and keep teams like Tulsa on their heels.
And those are the types of things that the Monarchs are missing when Jack Blake was out with that injury, was just that composure and that ability to make those kinds of plays under pressure. And now that you see him back in there, the Monarchs, they look more calm, they look comfortable on the ball, and they look comfortable really keeping possession in tight spaces.
And one of those things that allows is a guy like Michael Chang to really be his creative self out wide, not have to shoulder all the burden of being the creative guy in the middle of the park.
And also, Chang's that kind of guy, he needs space to play in. As you see right now, he's got that space to play. Can he make something happen?
Chang cuts inside. Chang with the shot, takes a deflection. Still in the area. Hasso takes a touch. He finds Arriaga, back to Mulholland. Blake to Arriaga. Arriaga to Chang. Chang taken down. No foul called.
It looks like it could have.
Ref waved it off.
Looks like it could have been a foul, but the referee had great position as we see here.
Higher, Matt. Higher, Matt. Look at the line, Matt.
The Tulsa player doesn't look like the first Tulsa player gets the ball, but the second Tulsa player does get the ball there.
So you can't fault that. DaCosta trying to get it around to Silva. Arriaga to Herman.
Come on, Rodrigo, you have to execute there.
Tulsa really just struggling up top. Their two forwards really haven't had much time to either possess the ball or try anything.
And with the way the second half has started, DaCosta's sitting a little bit deeper than what the second forward did in the first half, and now Silva's up there all by himself against 2, 3, or 4 defenders. It's going to be really hard for him to keep possession of the ball when you're going up against that many defenders.
And the Monarchs have been in situations like that where you've got one guy up top who's really putting in a lot of work, but one guy solo really can't do a whole ton.
No, he can't. He needs that support when he gets the ball, and the whole team can move forward then. But right now, Silva's just not getting that support.
Midfield step, Jeff.
Tulsa with more possession here in this second half, 54-44 here in the second half for Tulsa. This ball is going to be played over the head of Chang. 15 shots for the Monarch, 5 on goal, only 1 shot for Tulsa tonight through 53 minutes of play. Jack Blake leads the Monarch side with 58 touches. Luke's called for the foul on DaCosta. Just inside Tulsa's half. Quickly restarted. Lobo to Roberts. Roberts out wide to Reyes. Adai. Gonzalez. Silva gets a touch. The Monarchs center backs are there to win it, but a giveaway from Holt. Chang back there stepping in on the defense, and he'll play a ball big, high and long, trying to find Palma. Palma looks like he's able to keep it in. Palma tries to get around the first defender. And the Monarchs going to apply some pressure and quickly win it back. We'll see if they can move forward. Herman puts it out wide to Chang. Chang finds Arriaga. Arriaga's going to go down under the challenge of Altamirano, and a good spot for the Monarchs.
We are in Noah Palmer distance right now. Noah Powder distance right now. Oh, I want to see him. I really hope he takes a free kick after that free kick we saw about a month and a half ago. I'd love to see what he could do with one at this distance.
Left-footed player, you have Jack Blake also licking his chops, standing over this one.
I don't understand how a player can hit such an amazing free kick and then not be given the opportunity to do it again, Landon.
Jack Blake sets the ball. Luke Mulholland there as well.
Now,
Four man in the wall for Tulsa just inside the 18. Decent distance here for the Monarchs.
Now, if Jack Blake scores this, I will eat my words.
Jack Blake, Noah Powder standing over this one. Lewis on his line. Blake's going to step up to take it. Blake, shot, goal! Jack Blake! And I will let David eat his words on that one. Or speak no words. But a beautiful free kick there from Jack Blake, the captain. Or Jack of Blades, as the Wasatch Legion calls him.
And what a free kick by Jack Blake there. And Landon, I had to be quiet because I was eating my words, but all credit goes to Jack Blake. What a fantastic free kick. Put it right where he needed to. He got it up and down over a four-man wall, which is not an easy thing to do. And big goals from big players, and Jack Blake is the biggest of them all right now on this team for him.
A bowl of words for David. Shoveling them in and out. Sheldon. And that's one of those things that we talked about at the halftime break. The Monarchs needed to find that second to maybe give them a little more breathing room.
It has given them a little bit of breathing room. It gives them the ability and freedom to maybe make one or two mistakes. But really, what do all soccer coaches say? What is the worst lead to have in all of soccer? 2-0.
Yep.
So the next goal really sets the tone for this game. If Tulsa scores, it lets them stay in this game. If the Monarchs score, that'll break the back of Tulsa.
As the crowd's now getting into this one. Mulholland. A bad giveaway from Hasso. Hasso with the heavy challenge there. Silva inside the box. Silva tries to cut back. Holt will win it and play it away. And I'd be shocked if we don't see a yellow card here given to Steve Hasso. Hasso shown yellow in this 58th minute of play.
We talked about the young player having the confidence to put in hard tackles now, Landon. Now, for the rest of the game, can he have the brains to not put himself in a position to get a second yellow? Because if he gets that second yellow and the Monarchs go down a man, that really lets Tulsa back into this game. So I'd love to see this young player step up and be smart the rest of the game.
And you have to be a touch smarter in that challenge. You don't have to go in. Yes, you got your revenge earlier. If it's still a revenge situation in your mind, you've got to get away from that. It's got to be play the ball and play it smartly.
But as a young player, sometimes that's all they see is I got to go in and make that tackle, and that's what Steve Hasso saw there. But that's okay. I'd rather him go in and try to make tackles in that than not make tackles.
Yeah, you want him to be active, right, and aggressive. But with a 2-0 lead, you don't have to be overly aggressive.
So can he be smart the rest of the game and not put those kinds of tackles in?
Damian Herman trying to find Arriaga. Arriaga's going to win it, but a heavy touch. Take it across the goal line, and it'll be a goal kick for Tulsa. Get updates and alert all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search Real Monarchs or Tulsa Roughnecks, then click the follow button to keep up with the latest scores and news. Plus, get reminders on the home team's next match. Go to ESPN.com and click follow for your club. Lewis. Now 16 goals conceded on the season for him. Gonzalez. Back to Lobo. 16 shots and 6 on goal from this Monarch side. And you have to wonder if the floodgates do start to open here in the next little bit.
Well, it forces now Tulsa to have to step out a little bit further than what they're comfortable with. So can the Monarchs nick that third goal and really close the game out?
Be a big goal for the Monarchs, assuring them an opportunity to try to get all 3 points. Ball out wide to Sheldon. He's going to run at Hasso. Hasso sitting on a yellow card. Bodies off Sheldon and gets a heavy touch there to give up the corner kick. Did a good job getting the body between him and the ball, but gave that last touch and was unable to clear it away.
Sometimes when you're trying to shield that ball out over the end line, you don't get your feet right, and when you move your foot, it's going to catch that ball. And I think that's what happened to Steve Hasso. I don't think he was trying to touch the ball at all. I just think the strength of Sheldon knocked him off balance, and catching his balance knocked the ball out.
Altamirano, corner kick, headed inside the box, headed away on the second ball by Arriaga. Herman does a good job to track back. Arriaga, big ball, big switch there. Finds Palma. Palma and Herman running forward. Herman tries to get the pass from Palma, but defended away nicely by Tulsa.
And that is a fantastic run from Damian Herman there. He starts about 40, 50 yards out from goal, and he's making a diagonal run literally as hard as he can. Now, the pass doesn't get through, but that's the type of hard run you want to see from your forward.
And you've got to love the work rate that he's put in through 61 minutes of play. He is putting himself in a good position to find another goal.
I think there might be some forwards on the scene that might be naturally a little bit more talented than him, but no one is working harder than him in practice, and you're starting to see that work rate translate into the game. I think he might have the highest work rate out of any player right now for the Monarchs.
It'll be interesting to see how things pan out as Douglas Martinez when he comes back from the Pan American Games, because he's even been in form with Honduras. So we're going to see a second substitution coming here for Tulsa. Leaving the game is Matt Rogers. Checking into the game, AJ Ajekwa.
Now, when Douglas Martinez comes back, honestly, Landon, I think it's a no-brainer that he has to step immediately right back into the lineup. But with the way Damian Herman is playing, it gives the coaching staff peace of mind to know, hey, if Douglas can't go 1 week, we've got somebody who can step in and seamlessly fill his shoes.
And that's what we talked about. I know one of my big things that I have wanted from this Monarch side is a guy that could come on as a real game changer, as that maybe super sub, the guy that's going to work hard and score goals. We thought maybe it was going to be Coffee at one point. Damian Herman has maybe pushed himself higher in that conversation.
He has definitely put himself into that conversation with the way he's played over the past few weeks. But now, as a first-year player, you have to do that week in and week out in order to stay in that conversation. If you just do it on a one-off basis, then you're really never going to be in that conversation. So he's got to learn to do it week in and week out.
Hasso's going to play it back to Holtz. Playing it forward to Herman, and Herman took down the taller Lobo. Lobo's got him on size, weight.
But you love seeing that from the smaller Herman. I mean, obviously Lobo is a bigger player, but Herman is not backing down from him.
No substitutions used so far by Hamza Alave. He's really, most of the time, between the 70th and 75th, so maybe still slightly early for him. Nessian has used 2 substitutions so far out of his 3. Holt, big ball forward, trying to find Herman. Not quite in position to receive it. DaCosta. Trying to find a Jaquan, get his first touch in. Be a throw in for the Monarchs. 64th minute of play, 2-0. After a beautiful free kick. David's gonna have dreams about that one.
I will definitely be eating my words. And I'm gonna have to apologize to Jack Blake.
Mr. Jack of Blades, the captain.
You know, I should have known. How many times have we seen him do that before? I should have known that he was going to do that after I said something.
That's the scary thing. This Monarch side has multiple players that could stand over a free kick like that. Jack Blake, Michael Chang, Noah Powder, just to name a few. Palma.
Come on, AJ.
Players making runs forward. Powder tries to get it around the defense, stuck under his foot. The Monarchs going to try to keep it in. Powder back to Palma. And the Monarchs will slow things up slightly and reset. Ryden. He'll go forward. To Herman. Out wide to Chang. Chang, he'll cut towards the goal line, gets it caught between his 2 feet. He'll be called for the foul on Sheldon as Sheldon goes down. Chang just doesn't quite look like himself. Looks like he's maybe struggling a little bit. And after injury, you wonder if it's a little bit of fitness.
And sometimes with an injury, it's not the physical recovery. Sometimes it's having that confidence mentally in yourself to do the things that you're used to doing. And if you don't have that, then you're going to look off a little bit.
Would not be shocked to see him come off for the likes of Julian Vasquez. Maybe Christian Calix, we haven't seen. Yep, but waiting to make his debut for the Monarchs. Deep in the corner. Roberts. Pick up his head and switch the field to Lobo. Good string of possession. Nothing going really forward, but a good string of possession for this Tulsa side. Ryden get caught inside the box. Opportunity here. And opportunity wasted for Tulsa as they had a good chance going at goal.
And if there's anybody you want in the box in that position, it's going to be DaCosta. As you see here, it's a great ball back between the 6 and the penalty spot, and he just puts it overlanded. When you're on the road at some place like this, those are the opportunities you just can't waste. But we're starting to see signs of life from Tulsa now. There's about 25 minutes left, so can they keep this pressure on the Monarchs as they go forward?
Lobo brings it down to Sheldon. Sheldon's going to play it back to Lewis. Just over 20 minutes left in this matchup.
Stay wide, stay wide, stay wide, stay wide.
Sheldon here on the near side.
And this is much better from Tulsa. They're keeping possession. They're not breaking the Monarchs down, but they're going side to side, keeping possession, making the Monarchs move, tiring them out a little bit, and they're allowing themselves to catch their breath a little bit more.
Powder's taken out.
Hey, set up! Hey, set up!
Mulholland's going to see yellow. The AR on the near side wasn't even sure he was going to call the foul. Center referee behind the play saw it from a different angle and more of a dangerous angle. I believe that's why he's being shown yellow.
Now, Mulholland does get the ball here, but as you see in the replay, he just gets a little bit of that scissor motion on the Tulsa player's leg, but that is a good hard tackle for Mulholland. It's just that trailing leg is what gets him into trouble.
As you're seeing Silva check out of the match. Toby Uzo. Is going to check in this match. You're seeing that graphic up on the screen. Former Orlando City draft pick in the 4th round of the 2016 MLS Super Draft. Played 218 minutes this season. Free kick coming for Tulsa. All 3 substitutions used for Tulsa now. Ball put in back post, headed down, still inside the area, and pushed away by the Monarchs. Oh, bicycle kick challenge, or excuse me, bicycle kick at the top of the 18, but a dangerous play from Tulsa. Monarchs gonna use their first substitution of the match here at about the 70th minute. You'll wonder if it'll be a like-for-like substitution. Kyle Coffey, a local kid, a Syracuse native.
Star Wars fan.
And Star Wars fan.
We
have to slip that one in every time.
You can't forget the most important part about him.
For those of you who've never heard the story, Kyle Coffey has a tattoo on his, I believe it's his right or left, it's on his left arm, of what looks like a forest scene. But if you look deeper, Star Wars.
That's right. It's honestly,
TIE fighter.
It's one of the best Star Wars tattoos I think I've ever seen.
David's trying to get one.
I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to get a Job of the Hutt tattoo on my back right now, but my wife won't let me.
Holt's going to be called for the foul. Advantage played. Ajakwa going forward. Ajakwa in, but Ochoa there to collect. Holt's going to see probably yellow as he pulled down Uzo. Big leave there from Blake. The midfield's getting a little shaky in the last few. Takes a deflection, and the Monarchs are going to gain possession. Herman making a big run forward. Flicked on, but it's going to roll back to Ochoa, and Ochoa is going to smartly take his sweet time.
Great work from the young goalie. A little bit of gamesmanship here. Kill some time on the clock. Now I'd like to see him either put the ball back down here or get a nice long punt in.
Ochoa.
Second ball. Hold your ground.
No official saves so far in this second half.
Hold your ground.
Or excuse me, in this game, 2 punches, and that's about it for him.
Is that an official statistic? 2 punches?
2 punches. As Holt is just going to see a warning, I'm shocked. That was definitely a professional foul, almost to a T.
But that's what this ref has shown throughout the game, is that you get one hard foul, and then the next one's yellow. So the ref has been very consistent tonight.
Kyle Coffey going to step onto this match in the 73rd minute. Damian Herman going to get a nice standing ovation as he's got one of the 2 goals tonight. Free kick coming. Ball played out wide to Chang.
Come on, sprint. No switch. No switch.
Holtz
Cut it.
going to play it back to Ochoa. Ochoa's going to take his sweet time again. Maybe that's one of the things he's learned in the last few weeks. Maybe something he's learned with the U.S. U20 side in the U20 World Cup.
When you're playing those international games and you're going to MLS All-Star Weekend, you're playing against guys like Wayne Rooney and Carlos Vela, you're learning these things from experienced pros, and Ochoa's starting to show, you know, some examples of those things.
Holtz. Ajakwa. Jack Blake just made sure that one was not going any further forward.
Come on, Timbo, let's go.
Ball inside the box. Uzo plays it back, trying to find Ajakwa. Defended by Chang. Sheldon settles. Sheldon's going to play in the ball in the box. Big ball. Headed back to a teammate. Inside the box. And Uzo pulled up the landing gear and made sure he was flying. Ball out wide, Palma. Monarchs gonna counter. Coffee inside to Arriaga, finds Blake. Blake, ball inside the box. Jack Blake shot and sliding save by Lobo, and Lobo was the only reason this score's not 3-0.
Wow, what a last-ditch effort by Lobo here. As we see the replay, Jack Blake wide open the right side of the field, lines up a shot, but Lobo comes out of nowhere to make a great block, and right now that's keeping Tulsa in the game.
Corner kick coming from the Monarchs. Noah Powder's gonna try out to take this corner kick. 75th minute of play, Monarchs lead 2-0. Trying to find that third and possibly the dagger. Tulsa again in zonal marking, with the exception of maybe 2 players sitting higher in the zone. Powder's gonna serve it in with his left foot. Powder looking back post. Just a little too much on it. Tune into ESPN News on August 21st for Wednesday night soccer matchup between 2 of the best in the East. North Carolina FC welcomes in Eastern Conference leader Tampa Bay Rowdies, with playoff position battles heating up. See it all on August 21st on Wednesday night soccer on ESPN News. Ochoa making his 11th appearance tonight. Like I said, hasn't had to do a whole ton. Blake's gonna go forward. No advanced players in front of him. He'll dump it off. I think he was hoping that Coffee was gonna make a quicker run. Coffee was kind of running even with him though. If that was a yellow to Mulholland's, you'd wonder if that was a similar foul there.
But what we just talked about is that the referee's been consistent in allowing players at least one hard foul. And right here, as you can tell, it's a hard foul.
Oh, he did get ball at the first.
It is not a super dangerous foul, whereas Luke's, he kind of had that trailing leg, which gave it a scissor motion. I didn't think the tackle was necessarily bad. It was just that trailing leg. But he's giving guys warnings first, which I love as a player because, you know, the referee's not trying to impose himself on the game.
Free kick coming for the Monarchs. They're going to throw some players forward. Jack Blake looks like he's going to serve it in. Tulsa's going to keep a high line just on top of the 18. So looks like the Monarchs are going to make their second substitution. Jack Blake sends it in, looking back post towards Holtz. Punched away by the keeper, Lewis. Skill check and beautiful settle there by Chang. Chang's going to run at the defense. Chang picks up his head. Finding Arriaga, back to Coffee. Coffee inside the box, cut back. Coffee shot. Deflection still in the area. Headed on goal. Kalen Ryden with the third. You gotta love the tenacity of this Monarch side as they kept with that one as opportunity after opportunity was denied.
And you see here that Kalen Ryan, center back, he stays up in the box hoping for a ball back in. Now, not necessarily the ball he was expecting, but by keeping yourself up in the box, you're putting yourself in a good position, and he's able to get on the end of Kyle Coffey's deflected shot. And what a calm, composed finish. That is not an easy header. People need to understand that we saw it in the first half with Luis Palma. Wide open goal. He puts his header wide. Kalen Ryden, though, one of the best finishers of the ball out of the air. And he's able to sneak that one past the goalie.
He wasn't even sure. I love his face looking at that. He wasn't even sure at first if it was going to go in, and then it was the, you know, almost the Y of the YMCA. And celebrate.
Hey, you got to love a center back celebration. It's like when a fat guy scores in football. Their celebration is going to be awesome, and Kalen Ryan hasn't had many goals this year, and when he does score, it's going to be an awesome celebration.
Last year, he was header king, as Julian Vasquez is going to enter the match for Luis Palma as he put in a nice shift of 79 minutes. Julian Vasquez, a homegrown product. A young player, had an assist last week, spent time with the Mexican youth national team from Nibley, Utah, up north by Logan. Another local guy, and it's kind of fun to start seeing those kids. Some that are actually from here, not just necessarily brought in because of the academy.
And when you look around in the crowd tonight, you see a lot of young faces out there, and seeing these guys out in the field, it gives these young people in the stands, hey, I can connect with that person. They're close to the same age as me. They're from the same area that I grew up in, and it gives kids hope. And when kids have hope, they get so much better and so much more confident in the sport.
I mean, like, we're talking local enough that he played for La Roca, for Ridgeline High School up in Millville. I mean, we're talking he has some real, true local ties. Born in Brigham City. I mean, I'll continue along those lines as Ajekwa's going to get the ball out wide. Ajekwa defended by Hasso. Ajekwa picks up his head, puts the ball on frame, and Ochoa knew where he was.
Being safe.
Yeah, and you'd rather see that. He knew where frame was and knew he didn't need to touch it, but put himself in a position if he did need to save it, he was there. Looks like we're going to see the Monarchs debut, the USL Championship debut for Christian Calix. 3-0 here in the 80th minute of play. DaCosta inside, but cut off nicely by Noah Powder. Blake forward to Coffey. Arriaga back to Coffey. Coffey's gonna keep going forward with those fresh legs. He'll go towards the touchline. He's gonna be taken down. No foul called. I think if it's a tighter game, you may see a foul called, but with it being 3-0, I don't know if there was enough there. Holt applies some pressure. DaCosta. He'll play it out wide to Ajekwa. Ajekwa's getting his boots wet with paint here on the near side. He'll go at Hasso. Chang there to apply some help. Pressure and help, but it'll go off him and be able to corner kick for Tulsa. Looks like a substitution is going to happen right before the corner as Christian Calix
make sure we're right. Oh, make sure we're right.
will come on for Luis Arriaga. Luis Arriaga, 82 minutes of play for him.
And a great 82 minutes from the young player. Creates the first goal, puts himself in some fantastic spots tonight, and really he was that engine that really kind of kept that ball, that connected the midfield to Damian Herman.
Christian Calix, welcome to the USL Championship. Ball inside the box, headed, and it looked like it might have crossed the end line, and it did. But a good effort there from Tulsa. As I was saying, welcome to the USL Championship, Christian Calix.
You love seeing these young players get their opportunities. And really, that's what the Monarchs is all about, is giving these guys opportunity to develop and progress as professional players in the hopes of, you know, one day being able to play for the first team.
5'5", 132 pounds, 19 years old. Here's my favorite thing about him. Born on 9/9/1999. September 9th, 1999. He Honduranian U20 players. The Monarchs keep possession. Calix has his first touches to Blake. Blake still with it at his feet. Holds it up, tries to get around another defender, and hung on to it just a touch too long. DaCosta plays it out wide. He's going to give Altamirano some space to run. Altamirano kind of dancing a little bit around the ball. He'll play the overlapping run inside the box, headed away nicely by Ryden. Second ball coming in, but service was poor.
That was not an easy header from Kalen Ryden there. Great recovery from him to be able to get himself in the position to make that header. But if he doesn't get there, there's a Tulsa striker sitting right behind him that could have scored that.
David Ochoa, the reset. Connection between Christian Calix and David Ochoa. David Ochoa played in a couple games in the U20 World Cup. Christian Calix also played 2 matches for Honduras in the U20 World Cup this year. Uzo. A die. Out wide to Altamirano. Altamirano 4 goals, 2 assists on the season. DaCosta goes down. He's in pain.
Get on!
It's all the way back to the keeper. Ryden's battling. Uzo's gonna have it. Uzo looking for DaCosta. DaCosta goes down while still in the attacking third for Tulsa. Mulholland's gonna get shoved down.
I'm not sure Mulholland's gonna win a shoving match with a die, but puts himself in a good spot to earn that foul.
He did lose a shoving match against a pole earlier in his career. It is an often shown GIF out there. And we won't debate GIF or GIF, but go check out that GIF. Ball's going to be out of play on the far side. 85th minute of play, 3-0 Monarchs. Can they get the 4th? They're in a very good position to secure all 3 points. But you always want that one more. Good footwork, shot towards goal. And Altamirano just did not put that on frame. So you got a replay look at that. Had some space, and you'd like Holt to step up quicker.
It's a great run by Altamirano, but it's a little too late now. Why were these things not happening earlier in the game for Tulsa? He's making things happen now, but it's the 86th minute. These things should have been happening in the 20th or 30th minute, and maybe Tulsa would have had a much better chance in this game.
Coffey's going to hold up the ball. He'll keep possession, but lose it. Fans, the USL unveiled its Elite Youth Academy, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Blake out to Chang. Chang defended by Sheldon. He'll play it back to Hasso. Hasso to Calix. Calix, nice ball into Powder. Powder trying to find the run of Coffey. Monarchs still with it. Chang with the snake and the nutmeg. Chang inside the box. Blake puts another one in. And Coffey up and over the bar. A snake to a nutmeg and almost a goal.
I mean, as you see that, oh my gosh. That is going to be on the USL Skills of the Week Instagram. I'm not sure if Matt Sheldon's going to want that on his Instagram, but that's definitely going to be on the USL Instagram Skills of the Week.
Definitely not on his Instagram. Goal kick for Tulsa. Uzo wins the first header. Ajekwa wins the second ball. Ajekwa picks up his head. He's going to play it inside the box, looking for Altamirano. And Powder did a nice job tracking that ball in the air to clear it away.
The Monarchs, they have to keep their focus here, Landon. If they want to be a playoff team, playoff teams close out these games without giving a goal. Mentally and physically, they have to stay strong for the next 5 or 6 minutes here and prove that, hey, when games get tough here in the last little bit, we can stand strong.
Corner kick coming. Swung in with the left foot. Inside the box. Still in there. And cleared away by Chang as Lobo had it in a decent position. Has his hands up on his head. You're seeing his reaction. Throwing coming for Tulsa. Uzo tries to spin Hasso. Hasso has to be careful. Ball played inside the box and collected nicely there by Ochoa to preserve the shutout.
Absolutely no reason. I think David Ochoa has played a fantastic game, but no reason to punt that ball quickly, because now where do the Monarchs find themselves again?
Under pressure, Uzo. Uzo had his hands in the back of Hasso. Hasso's going to stretch out. And Ochoa is going to go quickly.
He needs to learn that it doesn't matter what the score is that at the end of the games like this, kill as much time as you can. I can't tell you how many times Nick Raimondo has taken yellow cards just for wasting time at the end of games, but that's what closes games out for you.
Vasquez, we got to throw in for the Monarchs. But yes, speaking of that, that is something you have to kind of develop, especially when you got a player down in your box. Let the ref come and tell him he needs to get up, he needs to move on. He's never going to push you to do that. I mean, and when we talk about the beautiful game, that's one of those elements truly of the game of soccer. You know, taking your time on things and allowing the play to develop. It doesn't stop the clock. And so maybe they'll add a little more stoppage, but it's truly going to still help your side, especially 3-0.
No matter how much time they add, it is never as much time as you actually waste. And David Ochoa is a fantastic young goalie, and these things he'll learn from experience. The more he plays, the more these
Vasquez
things
inside the box to Jack Blake off the woodwork. Chang! Michael Chang! With the rebound goal, number 4. '90th minute of play, and Michael Chang puts the nail in the coffin.
You see in the replay here, it's a great run by Vasquez. Jack Blake so unlucky not to get his second of the game, but Michael Chang in the right spot and a great finish.
Kisses the woodwork. As we're going to see 2 minutes of stoppage time added to this one. Not much more you can ask for from this performance from the Monarchs. 4-0 so far. We'll see if they can keep the clean sheet. Altamirano. Mulholland's going to chase him. Altamirano cuts in. Altamirano, shot on goal. And the flag stays down. And just as that, the Monarchs lose that clean sheet. And it's 4-1. There's going to be some frustration by the Monarchs coaching staff to give up that late goal as Uzo scores the goal.
And as you see here in the replay, Altamirano makes a great run up the sideline to cut in. But the Monarchs defense it's sleeping right now, and it's not focused after just scoring a goal.
And we talk about oftentimes that 5 minutes between goals.
It's those critical moments.
You got to stay focused, and especially when it's 4-1 or 4-0. It's easy to get lackadaisical. It's easy to put yourself in that situation, but you wanted the clean sheet. That should have been a goal when you went up 2-0 to keep that clean sheet.
And you can say, oh, well, the Monarchs are winning 4-0 already. It doesn't matter. These things, you're getting ready for later in the season. You got to be able to keep these clean sheets and prepare mentally for playoffs.
Give some credit to Tulsa for not just giving up, not just folding like a cheap beach chair. Moments away from ending this one. Ref checks his watch. Shocked if the whistle didn't come here in a second. So we've ellipsed unofficially the 2 minutes of stoppage. Vasquez. Blake to Mulholland. Chang, he's gonna pick up his head, sees the defense, goes at Sheldon again. Chang finds Blake. Blake shot over the crossbar as he wanted his second. He's frustrated with that, but that's full time here at Zions Bank Stadium. Monarchs gonna take all 3 points. They're gonna move to 10, 7, and 4 on the season, 34 points.
And that is a big win against a Western Conference opponent that it's a 6-point swing right there in the Western Conference. And now the Monarchs, hey, they're starting to get on a little bit of a roll, Landon, but they have to keep their wits about themselves and keep working hard day in and day out at practice and keep putting in performances like this.
And if you're Hamas and Alave, a very positive performance But the asterisk is going to be on that game. That final play, giving up that goal late, is not something you wanted to do.
No, because really it sets the tone, and you want to keep those clean sheets, because as you get closer and closer to the playoffs, clean sheets are what win you games. And if you're giving up goals because of a lack of focus, that starts to creep into your head a little bit, and that's what you don't want from these guys.
And what you can't have, it's not even don't want from the guys, it's something you can't have. You cannot be giving up late goals if you want to be a playoff side.
And I'm sure David Ochoa wants that clean sheet on his stat record, and he didn't get that tonight. So hey, we got to go back, and we have to refocus and play entire games.
Let's toss it to a quick break before our final thoughts, and we'll close up shop here on this Western Conference matchup. America First Credit Union, ensuring the financial health of local families and businesses for 80 years. Tonight's match is presented by Steward Healthcare. Steward, world-class healthcare where you live. Visit steward.org. Mountain America, start preparing for your future today with Picture Perfect savings accounts from Mountain America. They offer term deposits, youth accounts, retirement savings, and more. Visit macu.com. For banking that always puts the best team on the pitch, Zions Bank is for you.
A lot can happen when your sidekick is a dog.
I got this.
That's why you use Zelle in the Mountain America app. It makes sending and receiving money fast and easy. So Kicker and I can keep the adventure going.
Zelle is now in the Mountain America mobile app. Quickly send and receive money from almost anyone with a bank account in the U.S.
Kicker, my sleeping bag.
I've got this.
All with the convenience and security of the Mountain America app.
For the past 42 years, and with over 28 million sold, more people have put their hard-earned money on a Ford F-Series truck than any other pickup in America. Yeah, I'd say that's money well spent. It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to join the stampede.
Now get a Ford F-150 with 0 for 72 financing plus 1,000 trade assist cash, or get over $13,000 in total savings.
Welcome into the beautiful Zions Bank Stadium here in Harriman City. Brody inside the team. Brody shot and a goal! Andrew Brody.
Blake takes the shot and he hammered it home.
Back live at Zions Bank Stadium where the Monarchs take all 4 points, and we'll check out some highlights from this match.
And as you see in the first goal there, Luis Arriaga finds himself in a great space and just plays a nice ball across to Damian Herman, and he's nice, cool finish. Jack Blake, who made me eat my words, takes a free kick from about 35 yards out, puts it in the top corner, and it's got to be USL goal of the week. I'm calling that right now, Landon. And as you take a look here near the end of the game, the third goal and the goal that really broke the back of Tulsa, Kyle Coffey's deflected shot falls right down the Kalen Ride, and a nice composed header sneaks it past the near post on that goalie. And as here, as we take a look at the last goal, Julian Vasquez, great run to the end line. Jack Blake, so unlucky not to get his second goal, but Michael Chang slides it inside that same post that Jack Blake just hit. I don't know what Jack did to that post, but that post was sure nice to Chang tonight.
And as you see the final goal by Tulsa, and I meant to say 4 goals and 3 points for the Monarchs as they move into the 4th position in the Western Conference table. Let's check out the upcoming schedule as the Monarchs are going to head on the road for the next 2 weeks at Fresno and at Orange County, then back home on Friday, August 30th against OKC, and then kind of a few other teams, and one that's been on form, LA Galaxy 2, and then always the dangerous Portland Timbers 2 to end off that schedule there. But David, let's talk about our final thoughts. Man of the match tonight for this Monarch side.
My man of the match is going to be Kalen Ryden. You know, he led that back line. They did a great job throughout the game. Sometimes when you're dominating a game statistically like that, it's so easy for the defense to fall asleep. But Kalen Ryden did not allow his defense to do that. And for me, and he scored that clinching goal that really broke the back of Tulsa. So for me, he's going to be my man of the match tonight.
And not many times you and I will disagree, and I can't disagree that he didn't have a great game, but Jack Blake is my man of the match tonight. He come back from injury, came back from yellow card accumulation to really have himself a game. He played in the midfield all night long, looked efficient, and got a goal tonight as well.
I mean, for me, you can always say a guy like Jack Blake's going to be man of the match, but I was a center back. I'm partial to center backs, so I got to name a center back as my man of the match.
That's fair. From our wonderful production team here, statistician Connor McKenna, and all the great camera work that you have happening here, we had our special guest, Michael Garrickson, with us tonight in the booth. We'll catch you in a couple weeks here live on ESPN+. Until then, see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.